afternoon, everybody. My name is Lynn McIntosh and I'm the Data Centre and Operations Manager at Edinburgh Napier University. My colleague is Keith Hardy, who's one of our senior analysts in the team. So this is our partner case study where we're going to share our experience of deploying VMware NSX. So I hope you're in the right session. Quickly leave now, so that's not what you thought you were here for. So I'm assuming everybody knows what NSX is, but if you don't, it's a network virtualization platform developed by VMware for the software-defined data center. So there's no clicker, I'm afraid. So I'm going to start by giving you a bit of background on our setup, just to set the scene. Then I'll explain why we went with NSX as a product, what we hope to achieve, and then Keith's going to go over Keith's going to go over the NSX estate at Edinburgh Napier and take you through some of the timelines of phase 1, and then we'll finish off by sharing some of the benefits that we've experienced and the next steps for phase 2. So our Edinburgh Napier environment is 99% virtualized. We use VMware. We have Dell EMC storage, and we use Cisco blades. So we have stateless blades that boot from SAN. We've got 2 main data centers in 2 different physical locations, and we've got an active setup with those. At Edinburgh Napier, we've got a mainly centralised IT service. We do have some departmental specialised technicians, but the majority of services are managed and delivered centrally. So I suppose what led us to NSX? Well, a number of different things. In the last 2 years, our VMware estate has doubled. We now run close to 600 virtual servers. So there's increased demand for the services that we're running. Last year we began hosting services, so we currently host services for Edinburgh College, which some of you might know of, and other colleges have been approaching us for similar services. We host their VLE, which is Moodle. And Edinburgh College are a separate tenant in our Edinburgh Napier environment. We also support an increased appetite for research, and with a change of principle several years ago, the focus sort of shifted to a desire to enhance our research reputation. And information services and IT needed to be in a position to quickly provide an infrastructure to support this as and when it was needed. We also have started supporting industry collaborations as part of the Knowledge Transfer Partnership in the university, and we work with colleagues in our Cyber Academy. And while our traditional north-south network security was efficient, we needed to look at a better way to secure our virtual environment. We explored 2 products in this process. We looked at Cisco ACI and VMware NSX, with NSX being our chosen solution. Both are maturing products but have a different focus. One's more network-based, which is the Cisco one, and the other is virtual data center-based. As mentioned, we are a highly virtualized environment, so we don't need to expand the solution into the physical environment, so NSX was a better fit for us to achieve microsegmentation and multi-tenancy. And we can now design and deploy virtual servers and secure networking entirely within the VMware environment using the skills of just the data center team, which is the team that we work with. Additionally, we had already made a huge investment in our VMware estate, and one of the deciding factors of choosing the product was that it could be managed comfortably by the team that were using it already. An investment in the VMware estate meant that we could tie in existing infrastructure licensing with NSX, and we could use vRealize operations to monitor and troubleshoot the environment, which we were already comfortable with. we were quite early adopters of NSX, and as with any early adoption, there were some challenges which faced us, and Keith's going to touch on that as he shares our timelines and gives a technical overview of how we set up NSX. So I'll pass on to Keith. Oh, sorry. Killed the laptop.
There's no mouse.
There's no mouse. There you go.
I've got more button pressing to do, so I'm going to get in someone's way. I'll produce some of these slides from VMware. It seems the best way to describe what NSX actually does. They describe NSX as a network hypervisor, so it uses your current network capacity and your current compute capacity as well, and it sits in your data center virtualization layer. It's installed right into the kernel of all our VMware hosts. That means it's managed from an interface that we manage our virtual machines from, so it's a familiar interface to all of us who work with VMware already. What VMware do is they then slot this virtual network hypervisor on top. And if you think of a server hypervisor allows you to create virtual machines, and network hypervisor allows you to create similar sort of network constructs, routers, switches, firewalls, load balancers, all in software. So that's what we've been using it for, which lets us start to provide services in little bubbles within the software network, all secure from each other and sort of individually firewalled. These virtual networks and components, because they are now in software, they can be created, they can be saved, they can be deleted and restored, just like virtual machines, but for the network. And in the future, down the line with us, it could well be an orchestrator doing this, creating everything automatically when one of our other teams says, I want 5 servers for a new dev app or something. That could be, if we script it nicely, just a simple case of, rather than asking our network team and our other teams to help us, that could just be built into our service, the scripting of more machines. So, what Lynn was saying earlier, we had a kind of perimeter-centric firewall solution in place, where if we added new machines, we would talk to the network team, they would add the rules for the new virtual machine. It was a laborious process. With 600 virtual machines, that becomes unmanageable without doing it from a central point of view. So NSX introduces what they call micro-segmentation, which basically means the security is shrink-wrapped around the VM itself. You move the VM, the firewall moves with it, to different switches, to different VLANs, to wherever the security will stay with it, and you change that security centrally. That was a solution we were very keen to. That was one of the main leaders of putting in NSX, the security aspect of it, and that's worked very well so far. Another decision to choose it was it becomes more efficient when, this has been a bit of a complex diagram, but we use Cisco UCS blades, and if you take the example of, say, a traditional sort of app tier, a web tier, a database tier, and these services have to talk to each other. Initially, we had to speak to our, again, network guys and say, please put these firewall rules in. And there were several hops for the web tier to go up out of its VLAN, talk to the firewall, yes I can, go back to that tier. If this is on the same VMware host, there's none of that. It just, the hypervisor, which is also got the NSX component, knows, yes, you can talk to them, no you can't, so it's a more efficient process. That's on the same host. On another host, we've got 8 host clusters, so it's more likely it's going to go to another host to talk to its other virtual machine. Again, it just needs to go to our UCS fabric net that time again, rather than back into the firewall and back. So it's a more efficient process. I don't think I've really noticed it's been more efficient, but I haven't. But I think that's because I've got such huge bandwidth anyway that I've never been struggling beforehand, and certainly not now. So this started round about, so it's got a while ago, September 2015. we had a kick-off meeting with VMware. We agreed on VMware coming in first of all and doing a health check to kind of validate our environment to see that NSX would work within our environment. We also, they asked us to complete a workbook detailing our environment in great detail, everything from the names of clusters, IP addresses of hosts, ports, NICs, switches, or single sign-on domains, everything basically that comprises a VMware network, which was good for us because we didn't have all of that maybe down in the same place at the same time. We detailed all of that and presented that to them. That would form the basis of their design. So the health check went off. It was a VMware consultant in with us for 2 weeks, and they provided a report which was divided up into compute, data center, network, storage, virtual machines, and everything was rated from priority 1 to priority 3. So we acted on the priority ones. There were no showstoppers in the whole report, but there were some things. We didn't have remote syslogging. They recommended we put syslogging in. They noticed a bit of mismatch between jumbo frames here and there, so they listed that as a P1. Make sure you've got your same jumbo frame settings throughout the whole environment. Some of our virtual machine VMware tools were out of date on some machines. Again, they noticed that. Bringing them all up to date, or NSX will have trouble talking to the other machines. So, housekeeping, and we got on with it. So then, VMware Professional Services came on site, and they began to start the design. The design was, well, the basics of where will all these virtual machines go, how will we architect it based on the fact that we've got 2 sites. We talked about a bit of logical routing, we talked about how we would configure the firewalls, what kind of firewalling systems to use. We talked about the operation once it's in, how we would manage it, how we would back it up, how we would restore it, what were good management packs to monitor it, how we could get most out of the logs for it. We also spoke to them. This wasn't just going in as a framework, we wanted obviously to use it as well, so we came up with 3 use cases, who were going to be the first tenants of our NSX environment. First one was a school of computing, where we had some school of computing machines, but we were keen to get them in their own secure bubble. We've got a cyber academy at Edinburgh Napier, and they teach hacking, hopefully kind of ethically, but you know, the students work on the mostly Linux servers, and they wanted to make sure that that was a very secure environment because they're on our network. The second use case was an FE college in Edinburgh, Edinburgh College, wanted us to host their VLE, their Moodle environment. Because, well, I don't know, maybe they'd had their breakdown in their system. And we already hosted our own Moodle, and we thought we were a good fit to host theirs because we had a lot of expertise in managing it. So we hosted all their data, but we also hosted their domain controllers to enable the students to still access the VLE if Telford itself or Edinburgh College itself was down. So there was access required for their techs as well, and again into our network, so to be in a secure network. The third one was we gave a sort of proof of concept to our applications team. They run the student record system, and we were keen to get them into a more kind of organised structure. We use the same database servers for test and dev and live and everything, so if we could show them a little bubble that could just encapsulate the whole process, and that bubble with NSX can be cloned and cloned again and cloned again, so you can have a test one, a dev one, all quite simply, then it would tidy up the environment. So the install begins. We've prepared the environment, we've migrated everything to distributed switches that we didn't have on. We took advice from our networks team, given how to create the VLANs, installed the software. Unfortunately, it was around about this time that NSX 6 came out, and we took a look at that, and because we have 2 data centres, it made far more sense for us to use some of the features that this brought in. spanning switches across data centres and things, so we could kind of migrate machines more easily, manage it more easily. So we asked them to redesign with NSX6, so the professional services came back in again and then proceeded with the upgrade. That obviously meant we had to upgrade our whole VCU environment as well to 6. I was saying we've got 21 production hosts that were updated without any impact on day-to-day, but that was interesting. So then we deployed NSX 6.2. Unfortunately, halfway through that deployment, we identified a bug in the software. Part of this, because we were keen to move to the new version, which lets us manage across 2 data centres, we discovered that if we made a change on a manager in one, it knocked out all the settings on the other side. So it was a complete showstopper. We couldn't move anywhere. We just had to wait. VMware confirmed it as a fault, and we just had to wait until they came up with a solution. They did actually offer us a workaround, but that workaround it could have gone in place, but then we'd have to unpick the whole thing again when the proper fix came out. So we just waited. So see, that was, where did we say, the 2nd of February it was stopped us. They released the patch in April. By the time we negotiated when we could come back in to install it, that was into May. So at that point we resumed deployment, and we, again, our use cases went live. We were doing a lot of testing with the use cases in the background, so it was quite a simple switch over just to make them live, and it all went very smoothly. That's phase 1 complete, end of June, or middle of June. So now we'd be moving into phase 2, which is basically the point where we become tenants in our own data centre. So we apply the same rules that we've applied to these other service bubbles to us ourselves, because we have, I'm sure a lot of people have as well, servers just splattered across our whole network, and various VLANs have been created over years. So we want to really tighten that up, organise it, get things more manageable. And that's about it, really. We've got the design in place, we've got the framework in place for doing that with our network. We've just got to work out the planning to get it in. I'd say we're at the point now with NSX that the last project that people came to us, which was again from the School of Computing, this sort of third-party company that they've partnered with, which does fancy security across, sort of spreading keys across multiple clouds. That went straight into NSX from scratch. So anything new that we're deploying now in our environment is going straight to NSX. Anything old, a lot of things will be decommissioned before they ever reach NSX, and the things that are useful and remain useful will slowly be migrated into NSX.
And so Keith touched on the different models that we've did, and some of the highlights of the timelines was obviously the design meetings that we just wanted to sort of flag with everybody. That the design meetings were very inclusive that we had with VMware. They were very keen to stress to us about the link and connection that there was going to have to be between data centre team and network team, and that's been one of the most challenging things about the whole project, is that we have 2 separate teams that are divided by a wall, a physical wall, and sometimes a slight mental wall as well at times. So our work with VMware was very much making sure that the network team were included in everything that we were doing, and while it was being driven forward by the data centre team, they were very aware of the challenges that this would bring moving forward, and there are still challenges on a daily basis with that. So we've mentioned Edinburgh College and the Cyber Academy in these tenant spaces that we set up, that we have a proof of concept in place for the first of our applications for our student record system, so that we can show the benefits from there, and obviously our Cyber Academy KTP business connection that we've got going on there. We've been able to provide quite a quick service for them and quite a quick turnaround by putting them into one of these secure bubbles. So the last bit that we were going to talk about, which is probably the bit that most people are interested in, is the benefits. So we've got a more streamlined provisioning process for our VMs. It's got benefits for the teams involved, but it's also got benefits for our customers, so be that our internal customers to the department or our customers throughout the university. We were always pretty efficient provisioning VMs, but the process was reliant on multiple teams, as Keith mentioned, who all have got multiple individual workloads that they've got to try and manage. So using NSX, we can provision the VMs and apply security policies within the data centre team, and it requires less support calls bouncing about between teams. We've now got basic security rules in place within NSX, and we can quickly adjust these for new services as new VMs are added. We are offering services to our customers that in the past we possibly would have shied away from, or not being able to offer just because of the complexities of trying to secure the virtual environment. So we are encouraging and going out to work with the business of the university more, because we know that we've got this steady sort of base to put services into. And also we've got the ability to utilise internally distributed firewalls across our VMware estate, which we've never had before, and that allows us to move legacy VLANs, which we're quite keen to move forward with, into VXLANs in a structured fashion, and then it will reflect the function of the underlying application, so web database, all these sorts of things. And that reorganisation of those servers coincides with a refresh of our physical LAN infrastructure that our network team colleagues are working on, and that again will further secure access to applications and resources. Another compelling reason for us to move forward with NSX was, as Keith mentioned, we saw it as a stepping stone to automation. That's sort of been our end goal always. And again, our licensing model that we've got covers us to use VMware vRealize automation, and that's going to form the next phase for NSX. So phase 2, allowing our developers to spin up their own VMs and knowing that they're going to go into the right secure environment, and ultimately beyond that, possibly allowing staff in other departments, students, to spin up their own VMs as well. So the next phase also, we're going to do a bit of looking at the life cycling of VMs. As we've mentioned, we've got over 600. It's increasing, probably gone above that while we've been away. So we want to find a way to keep control of those servers, and when development projects finish, make sure that applications are retired and VMs are retired. And just as an aside, we had colleagues from the University of Central Lancashire up last week, and it was a very useful meeting. We met them last September at the IG meeting and shared our experiences of NSX. They're not as far on as we are with NSX, but they have installed it and they're doing some basic testing. So we hope to nurture that relationship moving forward, and are going to share any of our phase 2 experiences with them, and hope to do that with other universities as we go forward. So I hope that's given you what you came for, and given you a useful insight into our experiences. We're happy to take questions, assuming we can answer all your questions. But we've also put our contact details up, so if there's anything we can't answer or any follow-up that you want, then please get in touch. I've got a few business cards, so if anybody wants to take anything away. Yes?
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay.
There's an interesting, I think, part to your presentation. Thanks so much, Keith. It was really when you talked about the perceived physical and otherwise barriers between different teams that operate with one another. Institutions have been around for a long time. These teams exist, and I think we can all recognise those things. But for me, there seems to be a kind of logical conclusion to this argument that you're making, and that is that, in fact, the power that you've managed to take into your team and you're able to deliver this infrastructure, ultimately that needs to go right to the end user. How are you going to feel when the challenge that your network team has just faced, you're going to have to face in due course?
Yeah, do you mean as we move to automation and the end users to as well?
Well,
Or
I feel that maybe your network team felt threatened because they were going to lose a considerable part of their the reason that they exist.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason that they all exist and the reason we all exist is because of the people at the other end of this. If they're able to spin up infrastructure at their discretion, what role do we all fulfill in that? I mean, at some point there's a logical sort of next step, if you like.
I don't, well, certainly at the moment it's a little way off in the distance, so we maybe don't feel quite
threatened by it.
Well, I do now. But I think there's so much turnaround, certainly in the environment that we're working in on a daily basis, that there's always something else coming through the door at our heels. And we're doing a lot of work with Office 365 and licensing, and that's absorbing because my team look after all that side of things as well. So I think there'll always be that sort of overseeing role, and we've very much been talking about automation from a viewpoint of we will, if it's to start off with, if it's your bog standard request for a VM, then it will automate and it'll pass through and it would go into the bubble that it needed to go into. But if it's anything unusual or a big request that's required, then we would expect there to be some sort of human sanity check of that. And so I think we will always have a role, and we'll ultimately be managing that underlying infrastructure. But I would hope that it gives us a bit of space to manage it and maintain it and be one step ahead of people. So I see it more as a benefit to the team ultimately, because we'll be able to focus on the things that we're just not getting time to do at the moment. And if the customer's getting this service that by the time they've pressed the button, the box is there and it's in a secure environment, then they're getting an enhanced service to what they have today. So I hope that there'll be a sort of trade-off, but I'm quite enthusiastic about all the things that we can focus on that we're maybe not focusing on at the moment, because we're dealing with VMware calls constantly and building that secure environment still, but it's more of a stepping stone I'm seeing it as. So I hope. Yes, hello.
I would just ask, have you had any issues with compatibility, more specifically with legacy VMs and older systems you might be running and moving them into a new environment?
No, we've not actually. I think, and I was saying when we had the health check, they were keen that we had the VMware tools up to date on the machines. I think it needs VMware tools. We've not. We've got a lot of older machines that we've not moved into NSX yet, and I don't know if we will. So we may not hit these compatibility issues. We're keen to use it first and foremost to move new services in. So we've not really hit anything like that.
I think the difficulty for us was, with all these servers sitting there, and some that have been there for quite a long time, that we were like, oh my god, where do we even start? So our sort of plan at the moment is for new services. So our Cyber Academy KTP was a new service that was coming in, and we said, well, let's put it into that environment and see how it goes, see how we can manage it, and any new services that come on board are going to go into that NSX environment, and then we sort of start to deal with the messy, difficult ones. So it might be that this time next year we are saying we have come across, but at the moment there isn't anything that we're aware of.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello. What sort of security model are you applying to your host? I'm not familiar with NSX. Is it a sort of host security model? So you apply a security layer, and then whatever that host needs to talk to can or cannot.
Yeah, well,
or are you pulling in like traditional DMZs and there's pools?
We don't really have traditional DMZs. No. I mean, NSX and the whole selling point of it, yes, is it sits on the host. It's part of the kernel itself. So security it's not really host based, it's VM based. So I'll describe it. So I mean, the host himself applies security to them.
So when I said host, I meant the VM instance.
The VMs.
As opposed to like a blend.
Yeah, well, they get their security from a centrally managed set of rules managed from within NSX. So if we have, say, the students' record web servers, we set up the rules and apply that to just these VMs. If a server moves or dies, we can take it out of that group and we can build a new one. We don't need to get rid of firewalls for that machine anymore. We just add it to that group. As soon as the VM is live on the host, NSX knows it's live and applies the security rules to that virtual machine.
Are you finding that it's efficient, or do you have to create lots of different security policies per service? So, for example,
we're still working through that. We do have a universal rule set, like in old style firewalls, just rule after rule after rule, and that is growing in NSX now. And it is becoming harder to read, but I believe in the new version we'll be able to create subsets. So we will, instead of reading out through a whole list, we'll be able to just read through a list of the 3 or 4 rules that we've applied. A lot of them are default rules that we can just apply to all VMs, allow remote desktop, allow McAfee antivirus, allow the things that are going to apply to all our Windows servers. There's not any specific rules for specific services. If we use specific ports to talk to SQL or something, then we'll apply them. It's not growing out of control, and in the future it should actually be more manageable.
Thank you.
I want to hold you back from refreshment. Well, thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you.